right, good morning, everyone. I'm here because my ex-boss, if you guys know, Belinda, called me like a week ago, and she said, "You're up next." So she's one of the person that is my mentor here, so I cannot say no to her. So that's why I'm here today, this morning. So I hope you guys enjoy what I'm going to share today. So first things first, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, as if someone from the investment, the first thing for us is the disclaimer. So I will not be sued or whatever I say today. And so basically, if you, I want you guys to imagine like one day after we retire from all our work, and you wake up in the morning, and you were imagining what are you gonna do today? You can choose whatever breakfast you want at your favorite coffee shop, perhaps, or you want to do your favorite hobby, play golf in your favorite course, run your favorite place, and on lunchtime you can eat your favorite padang food, whatever it is, and for dinner you can eat your favorite hawkers. And you can do it for every day, for the whole month, and you have this schedule, which makes you feel positive, and which make you feel grateful to God the life that you give. I hope my sharing today could enlighten many of you and give another point of view of the asset. If you haven't known me yet, I'm Henrich. I was appointed 2 months ago to assist the CEO. I was previously the head of capital market investment, and I have more than like 10 years experience in like Ernst & Young. I have in capital market and in the IDX group as well. So I hope my experience can give you guys a insight on the asset that I know. Next slide, please. So this is what the Bloomberg and ICE and World Gold Council idea of the most performing asset class for the past 30 years. If you look at the left slide, stocks still become the most performing asset class, and second followed by gold and bonds, commodity, and cash is more in like time deficit. I think many Indonesians have an asset class in property, so I put on some Indonesian residential property prices here as well. Compared to other countries, real estate prices in these countries are relatively flat. So we're going to cover, I think, 4 or 5 of the assets that here. So based on the global researches, this is the assets that has more return compared to relatively to others. Next slide. The first is gold. In the past 5 years, they have like 85% returns. So it's about 8.5% per annum. An asset class that you could easily transfer. So the 8.5% is something you can get net. It's one notion that I'm going to emphasize later on about the return that we got here. Next is equities. Equities is an interesting asset class. Every 5 years or every 10 years, it doubles. So if you hold an asset, you hold equities for 20 years, and you like recalculate it in a per annum basis. If you hold it for 20 years, you get 50% return. This is the Indonesian Stock Exchange, the IHSG. If you hold it for 10 years, you get 5% per annum. But in the past 5 years, we know that they're not performing very well, and they're less performing than even from time deficit. So this is a unique asset class. It's something that you need to hold, you have put attention to, and you cannot, because I have experienced a couple of stocks that is being delisted, so it became scrap paper. So be cautious, even though it's one of the most profitable asset class, and globally especially so, you need to put time, or you can outsource your attention to buy a mutual fund, but still have an exposure to this asset class. But bear in mind that this asset class has a long period of return. The next is property. Property is, I think, a lot of the previous generations' favorite asset class. However, the return on a cash flow basis is only like 1 to 2% for landed and co-living or kos-kosan. Price growth is, as we said, we see earlier, is relatively flat. The property bloom was in about 2015 to 2020 in Indonesia, and ever since it went flat. Apartment, however, has a better return, 5 to 8%. However, the issue with apartment is the demand is not quite big. So you can have a higher return, but there's a chance that it will not be rented. So you're gonna pay higher. So the bearing cost of this asset class is also higher compared to others. You'd have no cost if you hold gold. You probably have minimum cost if you hold equity because it's being netted by the fee that you pay to your brokers. But having the property asset class, you have a number of things such as the taxes, and the regulations that you need to maintain, or else you're gonna get issues on your ownership. Next is bond. Bond is one of the growing asset class that the Indonesian government is being pushed. It's have a good return, 5 to 6% recently, the past 2 years, and it's one of the safe haven asset class. The next, the left bottom is actually a peer-to-peer lending. So I'm showing that my own account return, it actually has a quite attractive return. It's 14.19% per annum. However, they also have a risk of default. So this is the actual return, even netting off the default, but I'm just reminding you that this asset class, even though it has a big return, it implies a risk as well, just such as equities. Another aspect that I would like to share is the net return. For gold, for property, you will not be taxed by the government, so the 8.5% is supposed to be net. However, equities and bonds have tax as well. So that's one of the aspects I think you should see when you invest in an asset class. Next. Okay, now another aspect of an investment that probably not many people covers, which I would like to share. A dimension of sustainability is a transferability. What I mean here is, even though we have this asset class, sustainability, and my idea is like you've pushed the asset class beyond probably your lifespan. So you have your loved ones, your kids, your spouse, or even your parents, which could transfer the assets. You give it to them. How does this each asset class perform compared to the others if you want to transfer them as a part of sustainability? The first is gold. The transferability difficulty is low, so it's very easy if you transfer gold. Anyone can have the value of this asset class relies on the asset itself. So whoever holds this asset could easily use the benefit of this asset. So I'll go from the transferability and next cost and the asset use. So from the transferability perspective, the one that have the highest difficulty is actually bank savings. I'll tell you the reasons later on. Equities, property, bonds have a medium difficulty in transferability, and gold, as mentioned earlier, or probably physical money, dollars, or foreign exchange, is also easy to transfer. Now, the reason why I say bank savings has the most difficult transferability is based on my experience. Next slide. So this is the list of documents that we need to fulfill if something happened to us, or if even if we pass away, and we want to give it to our loved ones. So Mandiri banks require 3 4 documents based on their form. And on top of that, we need to provide this proof that we are the inheritor. You need to go to the court to set the that you are eligible to inherit all the assets, etc., etc. So not only that, there's a lot of things that we need to prepare. It's also costly and also takes time. I remember it takes like 1 week just to get the hearing from the court before we could finally prepare all the documents required for the transfer of the bank. Previous slide, please. So that is one of the aspects that, previous slide, the aspect that I would like to highlight today, that transferability of the asset class is something that we should consider, and probably we should prepare as a consideration. The second is transferring costs. On this case, property is the one that has the highest transfer cost. We know that the selling and buying tax, even though it's we know that there's the hibah in our taxation, but if it's for the deceased, you still need to pay the tax for transferring the ownership of the asset. So I highlight, even though the property is performing relatively well on the other dimension, but on this particular aspect, the cost is one of the highest asset class to transfer. Next is asset use transferability. I mean the previous slide, sorry. The asset use transferability. What I mean by the asset use, it's how easy for someone to use this asset. For example, if you go to a bank, you say you want to take your money in it, but you don't bring your ATM, you don't bring your phone, would you think the banks will give you your money? I don't think so. And that's the same for bond and equity as well. But interestingly, for property, if you go to the next slide, next 2 slides after this. Another slide, please. Nah. Anybody know whose home is this? It's one of the conglomerate MNC, the owner of the MNC group. Yeah, Heritano in Cikajang. So, do you think even if he doesn't bring his home certificate, he doesn't bring his home key, will he be able to get in his house? I believe he will. And same for our own house. Even though we never show anybody our house certificate, we don't give them our house key, even we climb off the wall of our own houses, nobody will say that that's not your property. I think that's one of the unique characteristic of this asset class, whereby despite the legal standing, the use of the asset, I mean, how can you use it, is something that is still being, we can still enjoy the asset despite the legal ownership. Okay, next slide. Now I'll give you a case study, a story, what happened in 2021 that makes me rethink my perception of an asset. So the story was about one of my close family members during COVID. So he was positive COVID, and at 3 a.m. in the morning, I got a call from the hospital saying that I need to go to the hospital and sign some documents because he's not doing very well. I get there at 3 a.m., sign the documents, and after waiting for 3 hours, the doctors announced the death of one of my family members. So at that time, we were very shocked, to be honest, because the afternoon before we just met him and we talked to him and he said, I want to go home, and he said, let's just wait for the results to come out, the PCR results come out, finish your medications, and you can go home. But yeah, a couple of hours later, we got a call, and 6 a.m. in the morning, it was announced that he passed away. And despite all the shock and everything that happened, we still being given this whole lot of documents at that time for the death certificate, for the ambulance, and for the graveyard. So it's very overwhelming, and not a single place that could give the comprehensive solution for all of that all that issues. So I remember talking to the useless hospital staffs and nurses, and they can't give me a good information on where or how they're gonna take care of the funeral, despite having all of the assets that we have. I mean, I believe we can pay the graveyard, the ambulance, and etc. etc. But during that time of the COVID, even though we wanted to move to the other hospital, but there's no other hospital that's available. So that was when the COVID was the highest, if I'm not mistaken. So we're just lucky to have that place at that hospital to take care of our family member. However, during that desperate times, I suddenly got a phone call at 1 p.m. It was someone that I never met. He just said, I heard that your dad has passed away. I'm his friend. What's the issue? And I said, oh, I'm confused with how can we get the coffin? They said, oh, you need to provide our own coffin. And I don't know which ambulance that I need to call to with this coffin procedure. The one at the hospital is full. And the graveyard that they offer, which is the Jakarta policy, is somewhere far away, which is very difficult for us to want to go there to visit. And thank God, the guy like, okay, we'll take care of it. So suddenly, we got a graveyard near my mom's place. We got an ambulance. We got everything is being prepared by the time of like 2 p.m. And on 3 p.m., well, still feeling like, is this a dream or not? We even have it like this forerider, which guide the ambulance all the way to the graveyard. After 3 p.m., we did the funeral. It's probably one of the most memorable 12 hours of my life. But what I want to see from here, that an asset, what is an asset? Next slide, please. So this is the definition of an asset based on Cambridge, Merriam-Webster, and even the IFRS, the accounting standard. It's basically supposed to be something valuable. It's something, a resource that we should able to use as a payment or to get a benefit for ourselves. However, during those times, there are situations where what I think is an asset is not an asset. So I will simplify. From my perspective, I think assets should be a resource that we have to obtain our need or our wants. And having said that, next slide, please. I think an asset is a good relationship or a good network. Why I said that a relationship is the best asset? Back then, the one that has this asset, the relationship, is not even me. It's my late father. But that asset class could be transferred despite me showing any proof that I'm his son, despite showing anything that that I need to pay anything to, just like other asset class. But all the needs and all the wants that I require at that time is being fulfilled. So ever since, I think a good relationship is one of the best and sustainable asset class. And not only is it good asset class for to meeting our needs, it also transmits positive energy. So every time, if you remember that if you ever had a reunion with your high school friend or with your college friend, give back the old energy when you did crazy things with them. But if you, but yeah, it's something that is strange. You spend time with them, and it's kind of charge you. It is a good experience that I believe is positive to our body. So this hypothesis of my hypothesis of good relationship is one of the good assets. I'm gonna back it up with two theory. Next slide, please. The first theory is the law of the what do you say? Kekekalan energi. The law of the energy. The energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to the other. So the positive energy that we give to the other people, I believe it will not go away, but it will go back to us. Probably other people call it karma. And the next is from a religious perspective. Surprisingly, there is a saying from Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that whoever would like to gain wealth and have a blessed life, then maintain good relation with his kith and kin, meaning we need to maintain good relationship with our friends and family. And it's associated with wealth and a blessed life. So based on this two theory, I believe the most sustainable asset class is our good relationship. And if you remember at the beginning of the session, I asked you a story. I mean, I would ask us all to imagine the day when we retire, and you could choose any coffee shop we want to go to for breakfast, and we want to go any restaurant, Padang restaurant for lunch and for dinner. I was saying that, what if we can get breakfast invitation from our old friends, lunch invitation from our old friends, and dinner invitation with all friends for the rest of our days. So it makes not only the eating experience, but meeting the other people who are valuable for us as more experience. But that experience actually inspired by one person. Next slide, please. Now, anybody know who this is? I was actually taken aback when she said, after I retired, my ex-team will ask me out to go for a trip for just hang out every single day. That my retirement day was busier than my working days. That even my husband would complain and told me to go back to work. So I think this is one of my, one of the assets class that I would like Aspire to have when I retire as well. So maybe that's it for me. My idea of a sustainable asset class. Thank you very much. Hope you guys have a good day.
Okay, big applause. Could you stay there, sir? Well, first of all, thank you for your sharing, and I'm so sorry to hear your loss.
That's fine.
Okay, and well, it's kind of like plot twist. Previously, when you say that you will share the most valuable asset, in my mind, and I believe in all of you mind, it's all about, oh, maybe it's gold, property, stock, cash, or something like that. But turns out the most valuable asset is what, guys? Relationship. It's networking. How we can, build, maintain a good relationship with everybody, our friend, family, and that will come the advantage, the kindness in the future that we know guessing will come, something like that. Yeah, okay. Okay, I know everyone here want to have more discussion with you, sir. So I will give you guys opportunity to ask directly to our guest speaker. So please, anyone raise your hand? Okay, Bu Jovita here. Maybe I will open three questioner first. Bu Jovita here, and then? Okay, I think still shy, so I will go to Bu Jovita. Can help Mike? Yeah. I can share my mic to you because I got some influenza. So I think I will bring the new mic. Okay, here.
Okay, thank you very much. So at the beginning, I want to ask about the asset, about how we can, plan to invest our asset and everything. But now I changed my question. My question to you is about how to maintain the relationship that you explained before. This is very valuable. During our busy working activities, maybe you can share something that can inspire us to help us to develop more our relationship with others, with family or friends.
Okay.
Thank
you
you
so much. Awesome, the question. Okay, sir, you can directly answer this.
Great questions, Bu Jovita. So, you know, in investment, you know that there's this theory of an opportunity loss where there's different multiple asset class and you need to choose one of them, and you're gonna have an opportunity loss of not choosing the other one, which might have a better return. I think it's the same thing with maintaining a good relationship. So the one currency that we hold is time. So it's the resource that we have that we need to choose, and the asset class that we need to choose is something that we choose on our own. But I think, yeah, I think it's basically the same with the other asset class. Yeah, a cost-benefit analysis. And so what I mean is cost-benefit analysis is with our background, with our capacity. So for example, if you want me to, if somebody needs help, they want to move houses, for example, which takes a lot of time. It's probably something that I might have more value on, but I think I can call someone else to help them go move or something. But if someone have an issue with their company, their private businessman, a lot of my friends is like that, and they usually call me up and say, dude, I need some money. How can I raise fund from this? How can I raise fund from this new business? Is it a good business or not? I think with my background, it's something that I can give more value with a little effort with my time. So I think it comes back again with us. I think it's us. I think if we believe that what we give to other people will come back to us, it's one thing that just being secure is something that have the most optimum return on this relationship, I believe, and giving something that you have most capacity on is also another point, I believe. I think that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Jovita and Pak Hendrik, for the answer. Okay, next question. Next question. Anybody? Okay, Mr. Bob.
Thank you, Pak Hendrik. Yeah, it is very tempting, you know, to ask about the financial instrument, because first time you display to us about financial instrument, but same with Ibu Jo. So the direction of this topic, yeah, it's about the good relationship, yeah, Pak. But yeah, I have the experience myself about the difficulty of transfer of the asset, Pak, because couple of years ago, my father just passed away, and then it's very difficult, you know, to transfer the property, the bank saving, yeah, Pak. Jadi, for me, this is a valuable lesson, Pak, yeah, because I have to know about the taxes, the law, the legal, the papers. Whoa, this is new for me, and then I have to put a lot of effort and some, you know, cost to pay lawyers and then everything, gitu ya, Pak, ya. Nah, ini maybe you can share with us what is the preparation for us, maybe the young people here in IFG, ya. What is the other than good relationship, what is the most the practical asset for them to have or to prepare for the future? Thank you, Pak.
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I believe it depends on, yep, of course it depends, because those asset class have different entry size. For example, time deposits, there's no minimum, I believe. Government bond, probably 1 million, if I'm not mistaken. Stocks, there's also lower entry level. So all the assets have different characteristics. and it depends on every one of your needs, every one of your conditions. For example, if you are still living with your parents, you don't have any kids, you don't have any responsibilities, financial responsibility, I mean, then you have the luxury to invest in a more riskier asset class with longer duration. But if you have a relatively high responsibility, you have kids, you probably have parents as well, and you don't have the flexibility of a loss, and you need liquidity, then your options become more limited. So I believe the most important thing in investing is the knowledge on the asset class itself. So literacy is key, because surprisingly enough, there's a high ratio of fraudulent investment in Indonesia compared, let me put it this way, the ratio of the unofficial investment, even though if you guys remember there's this like, Dimas Kanjeng, someone who duplicate money and those kind of stuff, it has trillions of money. And it's, when I was in a securities house, I was like, God, it's very hard to sell this asset class which has real company, real business. But these guys, they haven't even studied finance, and he can raise this a lot of money. So I think I studied something from him. So I think literacy is one of the things that important, Pak Andre. Thank you.
Okay, so which one the most, valuable or suitable asset is depend on your condition, your needs, your concerns, something like that. And the key
same
is
like food, yeah.
Yeah.
We have different body.
Someone
have gastric, so yeah.
You can.
Yeah, so it depends on the body. It depends on each individuals and what is suitable for them, I think.
Okay. So it's very personalized, and please, the key is a knowledge of the literacy of financial. Okay, thank you so much. I will open more question, please, guys. Everyone here? Okay, by George.
No, I'm worried.
No, you're worried.
Just like, well, you show us the star, the gold star, okay? There is transferability and usability and whatever, yeah. Can you help us also to put another column which is talking about the capital gain on it? Because you're comparing gold against saving, okay? Saving, by the end of the day, also it's quite difficult to transfer it. But then again, if you keep it there, say for example, sorry to say, during the transfer between our parent to us, or between us to our kids, it's still making money, right? Yeah. So how about that column on those
or the return? Can you please go to slide 3, if I'm not mistaken? I think I did put some return at the beginning. Next slide. Sorry, this slide first. So this is the global return of asset, but probably haven't arrived yet. So for the past 30 years, global stocks still precedes all asset class, followed by gold and then global bonds. And the right-hand side is the return from 2010 to 2021 of property residential prices. It shows Indonesia is the only country that the property prices is flat compared to other countries. And the next slide is specific to Indonesia. So the gold is growing about 8.5% per annum, 85% for 5 years. Stocks, I put it in 3 tranches because it's a unique asset class. If you hold it for 20 years, the return is 15%. If you hold it for 10 years, it's 5%. And the past 5 years, it's only 2%. So it's performing worse than time deficit. Property, this is based on my, because there's no public information on this. This is actually my personal return. For landed and co-living, so like 1 to 2% per annum. The apartment could give 5 to 8% depending on the location. However, the capital gain is relatively flat. Coupon for the past 2 years is 5 to 6%. And the most interesting asset class that I've been putting my investment is in peer-to-peer lending, actually. It gives like almost 15% per annum, 14%.
Okay, I think there's a follow-up question.
So, if that's the number, what will be your suggestion for the younger guys around this room? Yeah, maybe not for me. If they, I'm too old for that. If you have a what do you call it money, what will be better, having a home mortgage to buy a house, or just put in a stock or bonds or whatever? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your
Or
question.
buy insurance.
Or buy insurance.
I disagree.
It's difficult.
Insurance is protection, it's not investment. So it's a different stuff.
But somehow, somehow, one day, you can give the money as well to your
Sure, it's like
children.
drinks and food.
And
So
it's very easy to claim it.
investments is like food, you're choosing your food, but insurance is something like drinks. So even though it's similar, it's different. So, a good question, Pajori. I think it's back to my general hypothesis. It depends on each people. So there are some people who like to drive like 40 kilometers an hour in the toll road, and some people like to drive 120 kilometers an hour in the toll road. But what I would personally suggest is you invest in the asset class that not only give you financial return, but also give you knowledge. So when I invest in equities, it forced me not to only learn the basic stuff, but it helps me give exposure to corporate actions actually. So there's this stocks that I brought that was there's gonna be a huge merger for this media stocks owned by Bakri. So what I calculated is the potential outcome, etc., the financial aspects. But however, what I did not consider is the profile of the buyer, the aspect of the merger itself, what are the transactions based on, etc. So, long story short, the deal came off, and I lost like 30% of my money. But even though I lost financial assets, I learned something new, that there are fundamental aspects that we need to consider when the transaction is being held. So I guess one is equities, because I think equities, because the information is public, so it's easy for us to learn, and it's the safety. Because I have other alternative asset classes, something like private investment, something like if you do business with your friends, make some T-shirts, but they have these legal aspects and other things that are not publicly available. So I think that if it's something that you trust, it's fine. But I think the risk is much higher. Despite the commercial risk, there's also legal risk as well, because I also have experience in that aspect as well. So I think it depends on each people, but equities is an asset class that can give us more knowledge as well, despite the financial return.
Okay, thank you. Okay, one more question. Is anybody over here? I think all of you. Okay, I think you need to worry again.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Basically, this is not a question, just reflections. You mentioned that the saving is the most difficult to be transferred. I agree with that. That's why I don't have any savings. I give it to everybody because it's difficult to transfer, right? And I have a belief here. I'm a strong believer, and I don't believe in investment because my gain in investment is somebody's loss probably. That's why I don't want to make any further loss for anyone. So I don't have an investment just because I don't have money, right? But because I already give it to other people, I don't want my savings difficult to be transferred, right? So before it's transferred, I give it to anyone. So
Bravo.
What if? That's why I think how you keep relationship, right? You said that I have a different point of view on that. Actually, your asset is not relationship, but is human, is people, right? It lies on the people. You don't build relationship with people that you don't like, but you build strong relationship with people like you, people where you do most of the things similar with those guys. So I think it's the asset is people. Like our asset is our people. Unfortunately, probably not a good asset. So I mean, that's why how to keep your good relationship right with people. Of course, it's many way. My point of view to build relationship is by caring, by sharing, and by looking after somebody else. As you mentioned in your story that somebody else calling you, coming from nowhere, just because they care of you. So caring is how we build relationship with others. And if you can give something, if you can share something from me with others, it will be very good. So now I think I would like to have your advice about my investment philosophy, because I don't believe in investment. So is it something right or wrong? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Paraden.
Thank you.
I think I totally agree because, yeah, if you look at one of these slides, I put Einstein's law of energy, whereby energy cannot be destroyed or be created, but it can be changed its form. So the energy of sharing about other people, caring about other people, as you mentioned earlier, is something that will replicate and come back to us. So totally agree with you.
Thanks, God. Oh. Okay.